after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
Alright, so everyone did this as a kid, right? You're in a store and you see those vending machines. Ooh, you want that drink or that candy bar. It's a highlight in a young kid's day. There's staples in communities everywhere. Lifelong family, friends, and friends of the podcast are here for you. Gymnasiums, rec centers, playgrounds, wherever. KL&P Vending Inc. Family owned, family run. Come to us when you need your vending done. That's where the Gamertime podcast is going. Call them. 717-371-3350. That's KL&P Vending Inc.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they had coached him, Mr. Bill Belichick. He knew what he wanted, and he saw it in a backup at Michigan, and who hardly got any playing time in the first couple years of his college career, and
Right.
all of a sudden becomes a superstar in the NFL with the New England Patriots at 199. So, 6th-round guy. I mean, and just to go over a quick few interesting stats here. Out of these 6 quarterbacks, seven quarterbacks. Out of all these 7 quarterbacks, the first 6 guys in their NFL careers have 89 wins in their whole career.
Okay.
All combining the first 6 guys that were taken over Tom Brady, there were 89 wins. Now, some people might say that's decent, considering a lot of these guys were not starters. But I'm going to throw a better stat. Tom Brady by himself has 207 wins right now.
Holy cow.
89, 207. Come on, people, do the math. Speaking of math and, K's, we're not talking about the money here in K's. We're not talking about thousands. Well, yes, we are talking about thousands, but passing yards. Another interesting stat about these 6 quarterbacks in front of Tom Brady. Combined, they threw 44,000 yards in their whole careers.
Right.
Mr. Tom Brady at this moment has 70,000 yards.
Holy crap.
So, it's just amazing how you're going to find people anywhere, and you never know who's going to be the next big thing, no matter what round. And obviously, if you notice the NFL today, lately there have been more quarterbacks taken more in the top picks than trying to find the big names in the last round. Like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz went 1 and 2 a couple years ago, and now this year the Cardinals got Kyler Murray as number 1 pick, and it's just with the whole Eli, Peyton, Phillip Rivers, all these, it seems like everyone's wanting more quarterbacks nowadays compared to the 2000s.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like the change in the game, though. Even from 2000, we're coming up on 20 years ago now. That it's just a different game. Like if you're comparing it to the Carson Wentz and Jared Goff draft, that was like both teams needed a quarterback, obviously, and both teams that's how they wanted their offense to go. They wanted a pass-heavy offense. Well, it's pretty much a pass-heavy league now. The value of running backs drastically decreased over the last few years. You've got running backs who are dual threat running backs, like being able to run the ball between the tackles and also receive the ball out of the backfield is almost more valuable than, say, an Adrian Peterson coming into the draft, because Adrian Peterson is an incredible athlete, and I'm sure he can catch the ball, but he's not like Alvin Kamara. And I think that Alvin Kamara, the way that he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and just the overall scrimmage yards, whether it's running the ball on a pitch or a counter, or receiving it in the flat, or even squeezing between tackles or something like that. He is just generally more valuable in the pass game than a running back who stays in the middle, like who can't catch or who can't run routes or can't do this or isn't fast enough or whatever that is, because it's giving the quarterback a completely a new option to throw the ball. Like if you've got Alvin Kamara as you're the quarterback and you've got Alvin Kamara behind you, it's almost like your safety valve. So like you drop back to pass, your two receivers are being covered and your tight end can't get open, but that since your receivers and tight end are covered, then there most likely is either no cornerbacks or safeties left to guard Kamara, or there's just linebackers who have to guard him, and they're definitely not quick enough to handle Kamara. So you're talking about like Jamal Charles is another guy, but being able to dump the ball out to the flat and him make like one cut or one juke and most likely take it to the house, that's a lot more valuable than say an Adrian Peterson who can grind out 3 to 4 yards on a down. And yeah, that moves the ball and time of possession is big too, but like I just think it's more valuable to put points on the board in today's game. So you're looking at the better quarterback before you're looking at anything else.
Right, and as far as Adrian Peterson goes, and he had a decent year last year with the Redskins.
Yeah.
I honestly, I play fantasy and I try for later rounds because I know people are not going to go for him right away like they used to. But I still give the guy credit. Those two guys you mentioned, Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson, no matter what age they are, I still want them in my depth in fantasy. I think it's just they're the big names, and I still like having them. But speaking of running backs, Ezekiel Elliott for the Dallas Cowboys was involved in another incident. Apparently at a nightclub or something where he must have shoved the security guard. I don't know if it was on purpose or what the case was, but I guess the NFL's looking into that too. And it's just, as much as I love him on the Dallas Cowboys, and he's a heck of a running back, do you think the Cowboys would do the ultimate, and from all the trouble he's caused, do you think that they could use him as trade bait?
Well, with the way that, the league is making the running back position out to be, dispensable or, interchangeable or not all that valuable, I definitely think it's an option. I think, especially if you would make a move now, you would definitely get a crap ton in return. It would be the biggest move of the season. It would be huge. But that's hard for me to even I'm not a Cowboys fan, but that would kind of, putting myself in that position as the GM or whatever, the guy who has to make that move, that's got to be so tough. What is he, 24, 25 years old? He's just entering his prime. He's an incredible running back. He can receive the ball, he can run the ball, he's fast, he's agile, he's all the above. He's one of the best running backs in the league, and he puts points on the board. So it's that's got to be hard to, if you do need to trade him, that's got to be a tough trigger to pull.
And I know that they have a lot of options here of who gets contract extensions with Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Zeke Elliott. Honestly, like I said, I see it both ways, because Dallas Cowboys, if for some reason they get rid of him or don't sign him long term, we just drafted 2 people out of the draft to be a backup to him, and just depending on the rookie, I don't know if how good these guys are yet. But so we need to solidify what the Cowboys used to have in back when they were in championships with like Emmitt Smith. They were saying they wanted to get back to that type of thing with Zeke, and it's just I don't know if I'm going to sign him long term because of all this now. And even though he is their main running back and there's hardly any depth there, I still think maybe even a shorter deal or like a prove it type of thing. But it'd be a tough decision for him. But I also heard, I don't know if you heard this, but Donovan McNabb of the Philadelphia Eagles has claimed that he should be in the Hall of Fame because he said he had better numbers than Cowboys Hall of Famer Troy Aikman.
Oh, wow.
Now, that is true. I'm not saying McNabb's not a good quarterback because he was when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he led them to so many division titles, and he did get them to a Super Bowl, and and they didn't win that one, but it was a close game, and I think part of why he had better numbers is honestly because Troy Aikman didn't have to throw the ball that much because he had Emmitt Smith, and I know the Eagles had Westbrook, but it just a lot of the times people go by rings and whatnot, which I don't fully agree with, but I think he is a very good quarterback. I just don't know if he can say he's better than Aikman. Right.
Yeah, that is an argument for the NFC East, I'll tell you what. Yeah. So we kind of shifted definitely towards football there with a couple of questions ago, but I do want to say we did have a little bit of a conversation going on with baseball, and I do want to move on to a different topic, but I just want to say that the Gamertime Shows podcast wants to extend deepest sympathies or our thoughts out to both the Chicago Cubs hitter and to the recipient of a foul ball, which was a little girl who got struck and was on just one of those freak things, like the guy just rocketed right over to the first base side and it hit a little girl and she was rushed to the hospital, and it's just something you don't want to see. Like it's the images that were put on, I believe that was the ESPN game last week or a couple of days ago, and the images from that, like it's hard to watch, man. Stuff like that's hard to watch. Like I'm a father to a 2-year-old girl, and this was, I don't think she was 2, but she was a little girl, and just being the dad in that situation where he just picked her up and ran up the steps, like it's tough, man. It's hard to think about. It's not something that you want to think about, but it's an unfortunate part of the game because these things happen. You know what I mean? Foul balls come out quick, and you gotta watch and you gotta be careful. And there is the thought about baseball extending the nets from foul pole to foul pole. I just don't know if that's something that I would like. Like, I feel like it's more like you do that, it's like it's fine. Like, I understand the safety reasons. Yes, it's valuable to the safety of the fans. I understand that, but I feel like it's a huge, like, almost distraction, or it's a huge like a cosmetic kind of like look at when you're looking at the stadium and you see this giant net wrapping around the field. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird looking in my opinion. But yeah, I just want to say real quick that the Gamertime Shows podcast, if anybody involved is listening, which who knows, but if anybody involved is listening, we are here and we sympathize and we are sorry. And I did hear that the little girl woke up and she is starting to show signs of doing better. So I think that's on the right track. And the Cubs guy was very, I can't remember the player's name, but he was very distraught and emotional, and that was a good sign to see that he wasn't just brushing it off, and that I also heard he paid for all the medical bills. So, like, it's a good sign coming from him, and a good sign coming from her. So, yeah. Yeah, it was good to...
Good sportsmanship there, and, just the care that some of these baseball players have for not just not just their teammates and stuff, but the fans as well.
Yeah, Jason Hayward was there consoling his teammate, because of course, like I said, the player, the batter at the time, he just had a really hard time. Like, I think I believe the thing was, as soon as he hit it, he like grimaced, like he knew it was heading over there quick, and he was like, oh, ouch, like, watch out, kind of thing. And then when it hit, he like dropped, and he was so distraught about it, and he was like, oh crap. And from what I remember, was that he had a hard time finishing the at bat. Like, I'm pretty sure he struck out, and he like wasn't even close, because it was so hard for him to finish out the game. And then he goes over to the security guard on that side, and I don't know what happened there, but he was very, very distraught, crying on the security guard's shoulders, and very upset about it. And it sucks. I mean, that's
understandable.
Yeah, it's definitely understandable. Like, he's thinking about this little girl that he accidentally hit with the ball. So, but anyways, yes, we're here, and deepest sympathies. So, I want to switch topics, obviously, and this is a Gamertime podcast. Let's get some video games in. So, what have you been playing most?
So, you're asking me about what games I'm currently playing right now, and
right.
I'm still playing the show since I got it a little bit ago. I'm still having a lot of fun with that. Doing the home run derbies at different ballparks, and even if it's minor league or MLB or even the classic stadiums, every now and then I'll do my franchise mode, but it's a lot of fun doing the home run derby, because as a kid growing up, that's all I watched, got excited about it. So I have a lot of fun with the home run derby there, and recently I've been playing a lot of the NBA, since I'm in that NBA spirit of the NBA finals around there, and doing a franchise.
Okay. So I'm going to interrupt you right now, because I want to tell you mine before you tell yours, because of the difference in our situations. Because I want to start out. You told me what this was a couple of days ago, and I want to do mine, because mine is much more normal. I shouldn't say normal. Much more like
realistic.
No, not even that. Like, current. I want to say current. Mine's much more current than yours is, because... Okay, so here's mine. And now, people listening, you'll understand once Big Al starts talking about his, because this is mine. So, my franchise is with my Los Angeles Lakers, and I wanted to pick a player lock, right? I wanted to play the franchise on one player, because that's how I like to play. It gives me, control over one guy, and lets the computer, that way I can yell at my teammates, I can, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a little more fun that way. But anyways, so I decided at the beginning of the season, that I was going to make a trade. And it's pretty much the entire league is current as of, like, May 2019. Like, right now. In real life. And what I did was traded JaVale McGee, the starting center of the Los Angeles Lakers, to the New York Knicks for their starting center in Mitchell Robinson, who is a rookie, And I feel that McGee and Robinson are pretty much identical players with just about identical ratings as well. So it was an easy trade to pull off, but I feel like it was a very similar swap. The only difference is the age. I'm pretty sure JaVale is about 29 or 30, and Robinson is 20. So the ceiling is much higher for Robinson. And so, anyways, I player locked on Robinson for the year, and he's an incredible rebounder. I don't know if you noticed this, but he's 7'1" with a huge wingspan. And the Lakers in real life had a chance at drafting him, and they didn't take him. But whatever. So I got him, and I'm cleaning house. Well, not cleaning house. That's the wrong word. I'm cleaning glass is the word I meant to use. And I was able to. The rookie was able to average 10.5 rebounds in the regular season. But the games that I played, like I would simulate some and I'd play some. The games that I played, I was able to get over 20 rebounds in all the games that I played. And he's just that type of. He's very athletic, very long, and I'm surprised if he doesn't turn out to be a great player. But anyways, so I get to the playoffs. Yes, finally, after 6 years, the Los Angeles Lakers are in the playoffs.
Wait, we're talking about playoffs?
Yes, playoffs. Yes, we're talking about playoffs. And the Los Angeles Lakers ended up with the 6th seed in the Western Conference. So, but the funny thing was that 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were all separated within like 3 games of each other. So it was a very tight race going down for seeding in the playoffs. So I could have been 4 at the best, 8 at the worst. I ended up being right in the middle at 6. So the first round is the LeBron James led Los Angeles Lakers going into Oklahoma City and facing the Thunder for the first round. Now, just before the playoffs, about a week before, Brandon Ingram goes down for, I forget the injury. It was something in his quad or something. I think it was like a torn quad or something. But it was, he's got about, I want to say, a week or 2 left until he might come back. But first round goes like this. I player lock like I did in the regular season, but this time I'm not skipping anything. I'm playing all the games in the playoffs. And I ended up sweeping the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I don't get me wrong, I am not playing this on rookie. That's not how I play. I like to play with difficulty. I like to lose games. I want to go to a game 7 if I have to. Like, this is how I like to play. So it just so happened that they could not handle LeBron James, as he is the leading scorer in the playoffs at 33 points a game and I believe 7 and 7 rebounds and assists. So he's having a good first 4 games of the playoffs. But yeah, we sweep, and the closest game, it really wasn't even that close. Especially the 2 games in Oklahoma City, I believe I won by close to 20 points in both of those games. The closest game was game 3, where the Thunder had a 5-point lead with about 2 or 3 minutes left, and the Lakers end up winning by like 5 or something like that. So it was just nice to see all the yellow shirts in Los Angeles. I mean, we haven't had a playoff game in LA in a long time. But so what happened is that now in the second round, I haven't played any of the games. That's where I'm at right now. And but I matched up against the Houston Rockets. So, like I said, the rosters are all pretty much real at this point, except for the trade that I made. And so now I'm going up against James Harden, and we'll see how that series goes. Hopefully it's a little closer than the OKC one was. But, yeah. So, that's where I'm at. What's that?
You're lucky in that series there.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So, I wanted to spit out mine first, because mine is a little more like up to date, like I said. And now, ladies and gentlemen, get your fantasy hats on because this one's about to get wild. Go ahead, Big Al.
Thank you, Matthew. Well, every now and then, you see some expansion team or whatnot, but I took over the Sixers,
Right.
Brett Brown being the coach,
Right.
and I said to myself, something's missing.
Uh-oh.
And when I say something's missing, I say, I go big or go home. So I made a lot of changes to the 76ers. Well, or should I say, the former 76ers.
Oh, God.
Because not only my first moves, yes, people, I know I screwed up, but my first moves were getting rid of Ben Simmons
Whoa.
and Joel Embiid,
And Embiid. Whoa.
the faces of the franchise.
Are out the door.
We're going to get some new faces in here pronto.
Okay.
And, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't stand the Sixers being in Philadelphia anymore.
Whoa.
So, yes, they needed a move. Yes, there's a new team in town. And, I thought about the Sonics back then, and, I'm just thinking, I miss them guys. So, I moved the 76ers out of Philadelphia to Seattle.
Whoa.
And my team name, I like animals, so, and my favorite's already taken with the Wolves, so I just chose another animal, something similar. I went with the Cougars.
The Seattle Cougars.
And the Seattle Cougars.
Okay.
So they're my new expansion team, and I even customized the court to have it, how normal courts are like, the hardwood, floor, it's like a tan type color.
Right.
Well, I decided to change that up a little bit and do a gray floor with a maroon colors in the 3-point line and the foul line.
People, do you see what I am talking about? Mine was legit. It was real as the deal. The traditional NBA as you know it today. And now look at what Mr. Moshes did. We've got gray basketball courts here. What is this, Boise State?
Well, yes, in retrospect it is, but this is the customizable NBA, baby, and we're going to make it whatever we want because this is our fantasy. And speaking of fantasy, if you don't have these guys on your team, then, I feel sorry for you, but...
All right, what's the roster look like?
I currently was in the playoffs with this hyped-up new team. I have Porzingis, and I have Steph Curry, and I have the other Splash Brother,
Okay.
Klay Thompson.
So you took the two best three-point shooters in NBA history, and you put them on your team, and you paired them up with a unicorn.
Correct.
Nice.
Correct, and then, the big man, as Porzingis is, he can shoot as well, so,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
another shooter in there, and, I didn't want to stop there because, that's just not good. I sort of took the players from the Portland Trail Blazers and put them to the Seattle team. Coming off the bench, I have Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
Wow.
And this team, man...
You have Damian Lillard coming off the bench?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I have Mikal Bridges the sharpshooter from Villanova.
Yeah.
And I have another sharpshooter from Villanova, I think you know this name pretty well, Mr. Corey Hart.
Corey Hart?
Josh
Hart?
You're right, I believe it was Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart of the Los Angeles Lakers. You took Josh Hart. Thank you.
To Josh Hart, yeah, no, I gave you a couple round picks for that, so both sides are pretty happy.
Okay, alright. I'll take it.
Yeah, why not? Again, my fantasy.
Yeah.
So I get to the playoffs, and for some odd reason, I started my first season not making the playoffs, oddly enough, but second season somehow I was in the East in the first season, and now this year I'm in the West. This past year I was in the West, and believe it or not, I took on the Boston Celtics in the first round. And I got through them, and then I got through a tough Milwaukee team. So I was in the conference finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who had just, Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, who I traded to. It was a tough match.
Wow.
I was up 2-1, and then I lost 3 straight. Yes, with the superstar team,
wow.
the dream team, as some people would call them. I lost 3 straight.
Wow, that's amazing.
They were celebrating on my court like there was no tomorrow. So, after a tough loss, we're gonna bounce back this year and sign a couple other utility guys and get our main stars back. We'll see what the shakeup is, and drafting players in this year's draft. Obviously, like I said, like you asked me earlier in the podcast about what my style would be, I'm going after shooters first, and then I'll worry about the big men.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. Well,
having fun with that.
Your plan did not work, and you lost to the Thunder. And my plan is currently under progress, but I did beat the Thunder. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many titles you get versus how many titles I get. I don't plan in my franchise. I am going to play this out in the playoffs and see what happens. And I will take it into consideration on what the Los Angeles Lakers will look like in next season. That is also another topic of conversation, because that could very well be happening in real life as well. So,
absolutely,
not the Lakers in the playoffs, but a roster turnover, I should say. So, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting summer, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so
should be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so that concludes the Gamertime podcast, episode number 7. We still don't have any emails. If anybody is interested, any advertisers interested in, obviously, we'll help you with your product, whatever it is you want. Email me at gamertimeshows@gmail.com. Just let me know and we'll work something out. Also, like I said last week, and what I just mentioned again, that we do not have any questions for our email bag. I feel like this would be an incredible segment or whatever that we would like to get into. Just answering your questions, whatever you have for us, whether you want our opinion or whether you want to fact check us or anything like that. Just don't hesitate. gamertimeshows@gmail.com. I will read every single thing you send me, I promise that, and we will put it on the podcast. If you just want to shout out, doesn't matter. If you email it, it'll be on. So yes, thank you. You can contact us on Twitter as well, at gamertimeshows. You're most likely listening to this podcast on YouTube. That's where our podcast is normally found, at Gamertime Shows on YouTube. So, yeah, that's about it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and this has been a nice long podcast. And Big Al, I appreciate you coming on again, man.
Yeah, thank you, and fans, we also would like to throw in there if anybody any requests of joining us on the show for some special guests to hear their opinions as well. Hey, anybody who wants to join, just let us know, and then we'll get you on as soon as possible. So we like to have newcomers and see what everyone thinks. So
yes,
come join us. Yeah,
dude. My brother, man, Justin, if you're listening, I know you've been wanting to get on. You've got some hot takes. I would love to have you on, and we'll definitely get those opinions out as well. So we'll work out a time, and fans, you'll be hearing his voice sometime soon. But yeah, all right, brother. Thank you for coming on again.
You got it. Thanks, and everyone, thanks for staying up with us. Throughout the evening. This is one of our later versions, but we're 24/7, baby. Anytime you want to listen, we're here.
All right. Peace out, brother.
Peace.